afternoon. I'm Jason Ray, doctoral candidate at Aspen University. Today I present my literature review from a dissertation in education leadership. The dissertation topic is the role of the secondary school assistant principal in North Carolina. And here's our agenda for today's presentation. We'll have a brief introduction, followed by a discussion of the scope of the study, the significance of the study, which includes multiple subtopics, the theoretical framework, the rationale for the study, and unpacking the racism using the critical race theory. Over the past 50 years, the role of assistant principal has become pertinent to the sound function of a school. In the early 1900s, schools struggled with a huge increase in student enrollment. Our society, as well as our schools, have changed drastically over the last century. The assistant principal's role is also changing by growing into a position that encompasses many aspects of our day-to-day school operations. As time passed, the assistant principal position has evolved into a jack-of-all-trades based on the continuous balance of multiple duties and responsibilities. The ambiguity of the assistant principal roles caused them to be pulled in many different directions throughout the course of the school day. In this chapter, a summary of the important literature about assistant principals to include roles and responsibilities, training and preparation they receive, challenges most assistant principals face, the satisfaction of the job, and critical race theory from a theoretical framework perspective. The scope of this study will focus on the comparison of how minute the assistant principal's role are in comparison to the school building principal. This study will focus directly on the assistant principals assigned to Waynesville County School District and will be a collection of individualized accounts of the assistant principal's duties and responsibilities by providing an explanation of how their regular school day look. Assistant principals will address the training and preparation they receive prior to becoming an assistant principal. The assistant principal will offer routines and procedures they employ to overcome challenges they face and their personal feelings about job satisfaction. While this study will be limited in scope, the interviews from Waynesville School District assistant principals should provide a credible analysis for discussions with the assistant principals. The assistant principals I will interview have different levels of experience, education, and race, which should lead to a variety of interview explanations. Examining the central themes that arise during discussions of the assistant principal's roles to include prior training, the day-to-day challenges, the critical race theory aspects of the job, and gender will be involved in the scope of the study. Themes will be analyzed and compared among the participants in the study. The compared data will ensure a true quality of the inferences to be drawn from the collected data without my own biases to affect my case study. The significance of the study will contribute to the literature that surrounds the scope and functions of an assistant principal and their roles as instructional classroom leaders. The growing accountability of student achievement has created a need for increased leadership in the classroom setting. The focus of this study is on the contemporary aspects of the assistant principal that encompass understanding the personal side of the assistant principal, the current leadership's vision, assistant principal's feelings of the development of their leadership skills, and the future role of technology in the classroom. Until recently, assistant principals' role was virtually invisible as they worked mainly behind the scenes, ensuring the school operated and were executed proficiently. Assistant principals still have challenges trying to balance their assigned administrative duties that are required by the school district superintendent, the building school principal, parents, and students. The assistant principal has very little opportunity to develop instructional leadership skills because the assistant principal duties are assigned by the school building principal. Many scholars have noted that the most of assistant principal's frustration arises from a lack of defined job description. I will explore main functions of the assistant principal. These functional roles will be explored through the literature review of my study. These broad functions are also overlapping duties which include managing students, school building management, curriculum and instructions, and community relations. Managing students. The majority of the assistant principal time is spent adjudicating student discipline referrals deemed destructive to the safe and orderly school environment. School discipline concerns and attendance are the top two time-consuming duties assistant principal faces daily. Research conducted found that assistant principals committed a significant amount of time on 5 duties and responsibilities: discipline of students, parental conferences, cafeteria supervision, establishing and maintaining a safe and orderly environment, and formal observation of classroom instructions. Additionally, a role that is often performed by the assistant principal and overlooked is the assistant principal duties to manage and operate the school. School building management. There's a tremendously high level of work necessary to keep a secondary school functioning. Assistant principals are expected to ensure the schools run smoothly by performing multiple roles simultaneously. Several duties within the category of school management were identified during the study. This was complete alignment with the duties of the assistant principal that we surveyed. Graduation activities, maintenance operations, developing classroom schedules, financial operations, knowledge of school-related laws, and bus scheduling were all included in school management duties. The reality of being an assistant principal comes with the understanding that the daily routines and responsibilities are consuming the tasks that must be performed day in and day out. However, performing curriculum instruction responsibilities continue to pose an obstacle for most assistant principals. Instructional leadership. Taking on more instructional and curriculum responsibilities are starting to become a trend for assistant principals. Assistant principals must commit more time to classroom performance and curriculum leadership. Assistant principals should be allocated time and opportunity to become valuable assets as classroom instructional leaders. Curriculum instruction includes teacher formal observations or classroom walkthroughs, provide limited opportunities for assistant principals to demonstrate their knowledge of instruction leadership. No Child Left Behind has created a push for improving classroom content delivery, which started requirements for assistant principals to share some of the responsibility for mentoring and monitoring classroom instructions on a regular basis. The assistant principals also learn to become effective leaders in the community by including all stakeholders in the educational process.